And of course, this week, which we'll get into later about exactly what we did this week, but we have 13 friends from this week from 10 participants. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And I'd like to say that after this, we're just going to bust out of these doors and go right downstairs and have a contact paper Warrior Rider dance party. Everybody, the music's in the background, get everybody moved, right? That's all right, we'll be okay. So tonight, what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a little layout of the night. Then I'm going to do a couple thank yous, introduce some of the key players in the week and what we've done over the year. They're going to speak. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lavella Kalika, and she's going to introduce our readers tonight. So we have the art show, of course, but then we also have a poetry reading. So you get to hear some of the stuff that was written this week, and I think a few from past weeks, a few poems from past weeks. So first I'd like to thank and introduce the Combat Paper New Jersey Warrior Riders staff. First, if you guys want to raise your hand or whatever. First, my partner in crime right here is Eli Wright. Then we have right next to him Lavella Kalika, the director of Warrior Riders. And then Jeremy, right next to her. Of course, right over here on camera, Willie Young. And Joe Merritt. Where's Joe? Oh man, okay. Joe Merritt. I want to give a big thank you to someone that there's no way we could have done this, any of this, for the past year without this one person, and that is Seema Reza. Seema's the head of the JTF PatMed Arts program. And she's the one that had pulled all the strings to make this happen over the past year. I know how hard she works, and thank you for all of this. I also want to give a very special thank you to International Spirit of Healing. Right here, standing up. Founder and director of International Spirit of Healing, and they have been an enormous support for us this past week and the week before, back in August, and with all sorts of tasks, and we really couldn't have done this week without you guys. So thank you, International Spirit of Healing. And thank you to John too, International Spirit of Healing. Thank you guys, and we look forward to collaborating and partnering next year. I also want to give a big shout out to Pyramid Atlantic, the place where we had this workshop. It's an art center in Silver Spring, and they've been amazing to us, allowing us to use their space and allowing us to create art. Jose and Gretchen, which I don't think are here tonight, but definitely a big thank you to Pyramid Atlantic. Of course, a big thank you to Viz Arts, Karen, and everything that has happened here, because it's our second time here. We love this place, it's a beautiful building, and we basically show up with all our stuff and say, where's the room? And they make it happen, and so thank you. So, right now I'm going to bring up Brina from International Spirit of Healing. And she's going to talk a little bit about International Spirit Healing, and then she's going to introduce me. So, Brina Shaw.
Good evening, guys. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. So we had a great week. It was a little bit crazy. This is the first time you guys did anything like this. I'm sure it was a pretty awesome process. So I know that I talked to my three of you who said, I'm not sure if I would have liked this. For those of you who met Seema for the first time in your lives, like in the last year, I'm sure the first time you met her, you probably had the same feeling. I'm not sure if I'd like this. I met Seema probably 3 years ago, and I probably had the same feeling. I said, I'm not sure I'm gonna like this. But it was really great for me. It was probably one of the things that kept me out of the hospital, actually transitioned me out of Walter Reed, and actually gave me back my life. So that is one of the main goals of International Spirit and Healing, is to be able to provide integrative medicine services to veterans, active duty service members, and their families. So if programs are like this is something you guys want to continue to do, please check us out, see us on Facebook, talk to John, come talk to me later. We also provide transitional guidance. So I was a JAG, retired out of the Army at 100%. So if you have issues as far as getting out of the military, looking at your narrative summaries, your MBBs, PEBs, don't know where to start, you're welcome to talk to me about that as well. Send me an email, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to meet with you and talk to you about that also. So there's more. You guys come back 3 times a year, hopefully maybe more. But there's more than just this program, and we'll be happy to talk to you about the possibilities of doing more stuff like this, and the ability for it to maybe give you back more parts of your life than you think that traditional medicine and taking medications can give you. So, without further ado, Seema.
Lots of folks here tonight. All looking good. Thank you, Dave and Rena, for the introduction. I hope that you guys aren't worried that you're not going to like this. You probably will. I want to thank, of course, all the people that Dave thanked, Pyramid Atlantic for their generosity this week, VizArts for their incredible generosity and patience with me, and USO. We've done some of these workshops at the USO as well, 2 of them this year. I want to thank Deidre Aiken over there. Deidre, stand up. The Homeward Bound show downstairs and just like killing it up here today. It's been great to have her. She did the spirit houses with patients, if you saw them downstairs. And Jessica Shipman, who held down the fort. I'd also like to thank Peter Tarrick, who is the Deputy Director of Contracts. Was a person who had faith, who has had unshakable faith in this program and in what it can do, and has brought us this far. So thank you, Peter. So the National Capital Region Arts Program is both here at, or not here, it's at Walter Reed and at Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. We do outpatient sort of recreational and step-down sort of services, art services. It wouldn't happen without the support of my colleagues, occupational therapists, technologists, social workers, all of the people who sort of send patients our way and tell them to give it a shot. Yeah, you might not like it, just do it. And I appreciate that. My relationship with art has been long. You know, I've been an artist forever, I think since I was a kid. But when I faced hard things, I found that it's art that's helped me understand them. And I feel like it's a lot like, and those of you who may have heard this before, I apologize, but I feel like, you know, when you're a little kid and you feel like there's something in the room, you're sure of it. Has anybody had that experience? You're just absolutely certain there's something in the room. And if you can get the courage to run across the room and switch on that light, there's just a hell of a lot of courage in switching on that light. You see that it's actually just a chair piled with blankets, right? Blankets, coat, and some others. Maybe I was messier kid than you guys, but there was lots of stuff on the chair. And if you would take the things on the chair off, unpack them, and put them where they belong, sit better, right? That's our goal, is to sit better, to feel okay. But sometimes there's something on the chair that's heavier than you can manage on your own, or maybe you don't know how you're going to quite shimmy it. And that's what I think we did this week. Combat Paper and Warrior Writers. We came together as a group, people who have been there before on different points in the trajectory, and said, look, maybe if you try it this way, maybe if you come at it that way, you'll be able to put it away, or start the process of putting it away. And most of all, I'd love to thank the service members in the National Capital Region who have worked with me and allowed me as a civilian to sort of witness this courage and tenacity of spirit that I've never seen anywhere else. And I know that there's a lot of, I'm not going to like this. Somebody told me last week I don't know how to weasel into our hearts, but I appreciate the weasel. You know, I've never known that I've been called a weasel a whole lot, but I've been called a weasel a lot in this work, and I appreciate that. So thank you, and I'd like to do a round of applause just for that.
So right now I'm going to turn it over to Eli Wright. Eli Wright is a combat Army medic. He's been doing combat paper for 7 years. He's worked with a lot of participants. He's seen a lot, he knows it all. So I'm going to let him come up here and talk about the genesis of this whole program 7 years ago. And he'll turn it back over to me and I'll talk about what we did this week and then we'll get right into the reading. Right? So Eli Wright.
Woo!
Hello. So, obviously, I also want to just reiterate all of the thank yous, most importantly to the men and women that we worked with this week at Pyramid Atlantic. It was truly an honor to be able to work with you folks and for a very brief amount of time to be able to create this small community and to have the honor of sharing in your stories and becoming a part of your stories and a part of your transition process through the collaborative process of art. Since its inception in 2007, Combat Paper has always been about collaboration. It's about service members and veterans coming together with civilians and going through the process of taking apart these experiences that we all come back from the military with and trying to put all those pieces back together and move on and find a new direction after life beyond the military. And so I served in the Army from 2003 until 2008 when I was medically retired, and this project began in 2007. It was a very small little back alley art studio up in Burlington, Vermont, and it was a handful of veterans and a couple of civilian artists who came together, and through the ancient crafts of hand paper making, started taking apart the military uniform and using these traditional techniques that have been handed down through generation after generation and spread around the world by members of the military. When paper making came from the east to the west, it was through soldiers carrying these ancient techniques to the rest of the world to share with their own communities. And so learning about that history, the ancient process that goes way back, and revitalizing it for a new or younger generation, and many of which of us have grown up in the digital age, and turning back to these ancient crafts where we don't need computers and technology, where the simple tools of the paper maker, the mold and the decal, the history books that have traced everything that we've learned and everything that we now practice and carry forward, we're trying to maintain and honor our traditions from where we come. And that's what paper making is all about. That's what combat paper is all about. It's taking our military traditions and transforming them into something that fits for us as individuals. But doing that in collaboration with each other is where we find that it works. And the research is on our side. We know that art helps people deal with difficult experiences. And so through that, I can honestly say combat paper and Warrior Writers have saved my life more than once. And that's why I have the honor of being able to do this. I began this as a participant, and now I have the honor of doing this as an instructor, taking everything that I learned that has helped me find new direction in my life after the military, and then also hand that over to these newer veterans who come aboard, and we get to teach them, say, hey, here's something that might help you, here's something that might work for you. What is your story? Let me hear it. Let us help you learn how to tell it to your families, to your communities, to the world. And so I could talk about this stuff all night because I love what I do, and I couldn't imagine having a better job. But I will shut up now, and we'll pass it off to the rest of our crew and let you guys hear some of the work that was created this week. So thank you all.
So what is combat paper? Everybody knows what this is. We take this uniform, right here, actually this is an Army uniform. I was a Marine, so I'll hold this out here. We take this uniform, all the experiences, all the stories that you have witnessed, that you've gone through, that you know in this uniform. We take this and we deconstruct it down. We deconstruct it while we tell stories among a group, vet to vet, peer to peer. We close the door, make it a safe space. We deconstruct this down into little pieces. Right here, postage stamp size pieces. We cut this uniform up. And as we're cutting this up, we start to deconstruct those experiences as we're deconstructing the uniform. We're breaking it all down. And that allows us to then put it back together. So we put it through this machine that, with high torque, high speed, macerates those fibers down into a pulp. We take that mold and deco and we reclaim it. We make something new out of it. So we deconstruct, reclaim. And then what you have is paper. Everything you see on the walls here, paper. And that paper becomes the platform for us to communicate. And that's what this is about, is communication. Getting those stories out so that we can finally bridge the gap between veteran, us, and civilian. That's what art is. It's communication. And I'll argue that art is not art unless it's shown. So that's why we're here today. That's why we do this. We deconstruct, reclaim, and communicate. And that's what we did this week. These participants came in on Monday and they started cutting up the uniform and they started sharing their stories. We closed the door peer to peer. Tuesday, we started putting it back together. We made pulp out of it. We started putting it back together. We started pulling sheets of paper. Wednesday, we start printing. We're sitting down. We're starting to get ideas going. What are the stories? What are the experiences? How can we turn that into visuals? How can we put that into text? How can we put this on a paper? And the staff here, we teach them how to do it. We show them. We help them. We show them. So then by Thursday, we're pulling prints after print, after print, after print, until 4 in the morning, after print. And then Friday, here we are. That's Combat Paper New Jersey. And that's Warrior Writers. So without further ado, I do want to give this over to Lavella Kalik, who's the director of Warrior Writers.
Hey y'all, glad to see you all here taking some time out on a Friday night. I know there are lots of other things happening in the world, and I'm really just grateful that you've taken time out of your life to come here and open up your hearts and listen to some stories and see some amazing art. And I just want to appreciate everybody for taking the time out of their busy lives to give some attention and some care and some listening ears to what's going on here. So I'm not going to talk too much, but I do want everybody asked me, so I just want to tell you where this came from in terms of my experience. I'm not a veteran, but I have been working with veterans for almost 10 years. I know I don't look like I'm more than 14, but I've been working with veterans, some of them Eli and other folks that are on the crew. And I'm a writer, so I decided to share some of my experience with sort of kind of getting through things and moving on and keeping my faith and hope. And I just wanted to share some of those with the vets that I knew. And I said, do you guys write? Do you have any stories? Do you have any poetry? And they did. And at that moment, when we heard the first one, we were all just kind of like, wow. And we realized that this is important, that people need to be able to say these things, that people needed to hear those things. So we started, and I thought to myself, other people have to hear this besides me. And I thought to myself I also want to make space for folks to come together, for vets to come together and write, because I knew for me, what helped me survive my own trauma was writing, and I wanted to give that opportunity to other folks, come together and reflect in a safe and comfortable space. So that's what we did this week. We started that in 2007, I think it was, and we haven't stopped. We wanted to just do one book the first time, and we put together 3 books. We have one for sale here. And we started, and we just kept going, and it's just gotten bigger and better. And that's what we did this week. And one of the other things about it is it's really just, it's a good tool to use. Now you can find pen and paper anywhere. Everybody's always doing it on the computer, but it's easy to find a napkin or your skin to write on. When you have a word or you have a phrase, you got to put it somewhere. And that's what we talked about this week, being able to put it down on paper and kind of look at it in a different way. And some of the writers were really surprised at what they could do. They had no idea. And then some folks came in and they had been writing and they wanted another opportunity. So we take folks from never writing or people who write every day, and we make them writers, and they're published now. So that's what we did this week. And I also just want to acknowledge how much courage it takes for these vets to come up here and be honest with you and share with you what maybe they've never told anybody else, or maybe how they've never looked at it before. We always tell people, say whatever it is you want and say whatever it is you feel. We're not going to judge you here. Nobody's standing over your shoulder saying you can't say that. Be who you are, say what you want, figure it out on the paper. So I just want you guys to, I want to acknowledge that it takes a lot of courage to come up here and do this. And that's really important. To have, beyond your military life, continue to be honest with yourself and other people and say what it is you want to say. So the first person I'd like to introduce is a Marine who joined us this week, and his name is Alex Benno.
Hopefully the music will be like my favorite music, give me some rhythm while I'm reading.
It's got to be loud.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
Okay, great. I guess my first reading is going to be Grievance Letter to Discarded Uniform. Dear discarded uniform, I am sorry I have to destroy you. I am also sorry your owner gave you away, but rest assured, you serve a higher purpose. While you will no longer clothe anyone, preventing sunburn from the desert sun, or shielding from typhoon rains, you will be the object of creation. You have seen many hard days. Your owner might have warned you while he filled sandbags to repair a bunker. Your material absorbed his sweat, then held it to cool his skin. He wore you for days, maybe even weeks, till he decided to wash you. Maybe he was a stinky soldier, though, who thought your stench helped to ward off a pestering NCO. I think some of us all know that guy. Your pattern, your patches, your buttons and limb holes all served a purpose, and for this I thank you. Stand detached now and destroy your form. Be reborn into a medium that will communicate the burden of your life and the one who wore you. Respectfully, I remain sincerely yours, Alexander Fenn. I won't read the next one, it kind of bothers me. Go on. This next one, I'm going to read, Sorry for Not Being Sorry. It's not just to the children I'm reading it to, but if you've ever been to any global south country or developing country, or what they used to call third world country, it goes out to all those children that you've had to ward off if you're trying to get into your vehicle or walk through the market. So I'll go ahead and start. Dear Crab Boy and Street Children Gang of the Camp Eggers checkpoint, I value your industriousness in attempts to trade APHIS pogs for US dollars. The trades were logical and fair. However, I was angry and anxious when you mobbed me while I attempted to make my way towards a Marine vehicle. While I still regret chest kicking one of your colleagues, I feel there was no other option when he disallowed me to close my vehicle door. My main regret is the circumstance in which I found myself. In your war-torn country, I was a man carrying a gun, worried about one of your countrymen carrying a gun pointed at me, while a child begged me for candy or a pog tray. Godspeed, concerned service member. And my last one, when my voice fails. I'm just going to read it. It's called Valuable Target. It's not that exciting, really, but I prefer the black and white of a combat zone. I have a gun. A wall separates me from the enemy. At home, the enemy has no wall. He sleeps in a bed in a house next to mine. Our children might play together. When I walk the streets of a combat zone, I know I'm in danger. The enemy hasn't fired at me yet because I'm not a valuable target. When I walk the streets at home, there are rapists, serial killers, corruption of law, suicidal leadership of the service, and of course, the enemy who just hasn't fired at me yet. When I drive my car at home, I stow weapons under every seat. At bars, I linger past closing, hoping to fight with the miserable drunks. At night, my doors stay unlocked and hope someone will break into my home. Also, I can create a combat zone, a place where danger is sure, where idle minds won't be drowned with fermented spirit. A clear mind, ever present, vigilant while body is justifiably held fit, not slowed down by Italian pie and Family Guy. Of all the men I've known that lived and died, valuable targets they were, not me. So here I sit, back to the door, hoping someone will surprise me. So on the wall over there, those two gentlemen standing beneath the rockets, that's my father, Nicholas Elton Fenno. He was a Marine during the Vietnam War, my personal hero, and basically that is meant for him. I still haven't even told him I created it yet, but I guess I'll get around to that one day. But I hope you enjoy everything, the readings, and all of our artwork tonight. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Alex. It's been great to have Alex and the whole crew this week. And, I just wanted to acknowledge the humor in Alex's pieces. That's one of the things we mentioned this week. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. Some of it's great, some of it's not so great. And every chance we get, we need to have our laughter, have our moment to giggle at things and laugh at ourselves. Keep on trucking and keep on figuring things out. So our next reader is coming from the Air Force, and her name is Allison. Woo!
Yes.
Fantastic. Hi, my name is Allison, and I am a captain in the Air Force. And I'm going to read you two things. One of them I'm reading directly from the book, and then the other one, after last night, I really felt compelled to add a couple sentences to the second one I'm going to read to you. So I'm going to read that one from my phone. The first one is called Goodbye. And I think this one for me was special because it came at the last minutes of our period to write. And I felt like it was the most inner me speaking at that moment. So here it is.
I'm blanking, too tired, don't want to go there, wondering how much longer I must fake it. Has this been my entire life? Am I fighting the authentic me? When can I take a nap? This is all a bit too much for me to digest. I'm not fully ready to face my own. When will I get over the sadness and guilt? Will I ever be okay? My eyelids are closing. I'm ready for that nap. Too much to digest right now. Goodbye. Okay, and the second one is realization, but like I said, I made a couple minor edits, so I'm just going to read it from my phone. I'm back. Did you miss me? I've only been gone for 12 hours, but it was long enough for me, because in my sleep, I find my way back home, back into your consuming arms. Will you ever want to let me go? Will I ever be ready for you to? Asleep in my bed, the pain, the suffering, the fight, the fear, the struggle, they are all I know. They are all I need. In my waking life, those parts of me seem out of place. But in my dreams, they are useful and second nature. I'm running and screaming and shooting and killing and hiding and emerging every single night, night after night. But it's hard to move on from what you have so long considered home. They say home is where the heart is. But if you have no heart left and the memories are all you've got, then where do you go? I know. In my sleep, the chaos cloaks me. But upon my waking, I'm reminded that my dreams of home are really the nightmares that will haunt me until I fall asleep again, welcomed home by your darkness 12 hours later. I'm back. Did you miss me? That's it. And the one with the dog on it is mine. His name is Little Boy. And the reason that I felt it was important to put him on my combat paper was because when I came back from Iraq from a year-long deployment, I was in a really tough place, and everyone had told me that the best thing to do might be to get a dog, someone who can kind of help you, give you responsibility, or just give you a reason to get up in the morning. And so that's what I did, and I adopted him when he was 10 weeks old, and the significance of him really hit me about 2 months after I rescued him, when I realized that the day he was born was the day that I actually flew out of Iraq. And in that moment, I felt like he had really been made just for me. And so I titled that piece Savior because for me, to this day, I think he's probably one of the only reasons that I fight so hard to get up and keep going on. So, thank you. One great thing about Allison this week was we gave them these books on the first day, and some people, plowed through the whole thing. They were like, I'm on page 114 the first night. It's like, it's not exactly bedside reading, but, they get into it. They're interested. There's somebody saying something that speaks to them. And Allison, brought this one to our attention, said this one could have been written by me. It says exactly my experience. And that's what, this is really about, is opening it up and saying someone feels the same way. You're not alone. This is a shared experience. So let's come together and kind of talk about it and figure it out together and give each other some hope and some help in moving forward. So thanks, Allison, for sharing that. So the next person I'd like to introduce is an Army veteran, and he's also a DJ. So ask him later if you want to check out his tunes. But this week he was a visual artist and a writer. He got back into some of the writing. And so please welcome Sean Johnson.
I make a living in front of people, like hundreds of people. I've never been to them before. So thank you guys. I'm going to read two things, and Again, neither of them have titles because I was not very good at this whole naming when I was writing this whole stream of consciousness. But I'm just gonna go for it. Every time I see a helicopter, especially a Black Hawk, I remember the view from the sky. My first week in country, my squad leader told me that since it was my first deployment, he wanted me and the other young soldiers to go on an escort mission in a Black Hawk. I was sitting in the gunner's seat, listening to the crew chief on the headset right before leaving the compound, anticipating the takeoff. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, we launched in the sky, fast as hell. Roller coasters suck compared to flying map of the Earth. When we were done dropping off supplies on my second mission, the pilot and the crew chief pulled out a map, and we spent a good hour flying to spots that looked interesting on the map. We were trying to find a point on the map at the top of a mountain. We're sitting in the clouds and don't know what we're looking for. Suddenly there's a break in the clouds and I could see a giant wall. I pointed at it and the pilot went up to it and we could finally see the Haitian Citadel, one of the 7 wonders of the world. The giant castle that the Haitians used to defend their land is embedded in my mind forever. Everything looks better from the sky. And so the second one, this one, I was fighting with myself, telling myself I wanted to read this because it took me a lot of effort to come up with this and help from the go. So, thank you. I'm not defined by my past. I'm not okay with dishonesty. I'm not any better or worse than anyone else. I'm not going to intentionally cause harm to anyone else. I'm a brother and a friend to my younger sister. I'm an artist in a world of suits and ties. I'm trying to leave behind more good than bad when I die. I want to make a difference. I want to make opportunities to help people. I want my family to know I'm there for them. I hope that I'm not working backwards. I hope that Matt is at peace. And I hope that the wrongs that I've done can be forgiven. One quick thing I want to say. That last part, I hope that Matt is at peace. Matthew McDonough was one of my soldiers. I was in the 372nd Military Police Company. My unit deployed to Afghanistan. They got their orders a week after I got out of my active part of my contract. He took his own life, and that's been on my shoulders for a very long time. And that's why it took me a lot of effort to write this and to read that. So thank you guys. Over here, that is a picture of the National Training Center on the left and a picture of the National Airport of Haiti in Port-au-Prince. I deployed to Haiti, and the reason that I made that is because I fought for a long time in my own head and just kind of talking to people about the fact that I'm in the military, that I didn't deploy to Iraq or Afghanistan. And for a long time I felt like I was supposed to. And because most people have no idea that the military has any active missions anywhere other than Iraq and Afghanistan, I felt for a long time that nothing I did really mattered because nobody else knew about it. So that's my piece over there. I don't want to talk about it much more because that's my frustrations on that. So thank you all.
Did work hard on it, and I knew that we were going to come out in the end with something that he was happy with. We just got to do a little work, move some things around, shift it around in our heads and in our bodies and our minds. So the next person I'd like to introduce was with us this week and working real hard on making things fit together. And she also actually served in Haiti as well. And I would like to welcome Kathy, who was a JAG in the Army.
Good evening. I'm actually in my 25th year in the Army, and when I deployed to Haiti, that was in 1995, so 18 years ago. It was my last deployment. I first started in 1990, had multiple deployments between 1990 and 1995. And for me, we did it, but the difference is, it was very rare for a female to deploy at that time. In fact, when I came in during Judge Advocate General's Corps in 1989, there were no females above the rank of major. And now the TJAG of the Army is female. So in 25 years, we've done that. But when I was deploying, it was rare for females to deploy. I deployed with an infantry battalion. They had no idea what to do with me. But we got along just fine. I was part of a light infantry division. When I deployed to Haiti, I was part of the 25th Infantry Division Light in Hawaii. I knew when I was in Panama and they said I was getting assigned to an island that began with an H and ended with an I thought it was Hawaii. Well, that was the pit stop before I went to Haiti for 6 months. And came with the 25th ID as part of the multinational force and observers. And then I was chosen to become the JAG for all U.S. forces in Haiti when the UN took over, and I became part of the United Nations mission in Haiti. And then I was part of an armored cavalry regiment who also had never had females. And I actually won my spurs from the cavalry regiment. And I was one of the first females to obtain a cavalry spurs. So my haunting question for the last 18 years or 13, I don't know, I don't do math, and you'll understand why, has been that picture on the wall over there underneath the Haitian flag. I was with Haitian orphans, all of whom had AIDS. And I've always wondered, did those kids and the other children in Haiti grow and thrive, and really grow and thrive in a democratic nation? And were our efforts there for that generation? Did it succeed? So then 10 years later, when the earthquake came, were they able to serve their country and pull it together? Because some of my thoughts this week were pretty dark, I've chosen to read something a little different and explain some of the problems I deal with on a daily basis. So, the title of my poem is "The Day Charlie Brown's Teacher Moved Into My Brain." I've always enjoyed the Charlie Brown cartoons, particularly the television specials. I remember the Halloween special and the cries of, "It's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown." It still rings in my ears. Of course, I remember Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Snoopy, that little punk dog, and Pigpen. But for some reason, it was always Charlie Brown's teacher who I thought was a real character. I giggled every time I heard her speak, wah, 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 wah. It was hilarious. I didn't know anybody who really spoke like that. Wah, 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 wah. Only in cartoons this could happen, I would tell myself. But I wondered, could somebody exist in this universe and actually sound like that? Well, I thought that couldn't be true until a sign from above moved Charlie Brown's teacher right into my brain. She is the voice of traumatic brain injury. And everyone sounds like her most of the time now. Wah, 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 wah. Who are you? Wah, 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 wah. Oh, you're Charlie Brown's teacher. Well, I guess I say hello and welcome you to what's left of my brain. I hear you every day now, all day long. Everyone sounds like you. Wah, 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 wah. I'm sorry, was that a phone number you gave me? Gee, I didn't know a phone number could only have 2 digits in it. Oh, you gave me 10 digits? I have no freaking idea where the other 8 digits just went. Are you sure it was 10 digits? Wah, 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 wah. Isn't that amazing what they teach in journalism school today? I just heard a 3-word news story on the radio. Or, all I remember is 3 words. But it was on WTOP. And if I wait, I can hear it over and over and over and over again. And then maybe after 4 or 5 times, I'll start to get the gist of the story. That was news. What? I'm sorry, you want what? Oh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Do I know you? Have we met before? What? Oh, you're Charlie Brown's teacher, and you've moved into my brain.
Thanks for that, Kathy. So the next person I would like to introduce came to our workshops this week and was a very calming presence, and it was very nice to have his energy there with us this week. So please help me introduce Air Force veteran Dan Common. I knew that. Still in, right? You're still in?
Yes.
So none of us.
I know it says it's only going to do one bed. I'm probably going to do two. The first one is the cutting of the uniforms. It's kind of the thoughts that were going through my mind while that was the line made it right there on the end over at Meganet. So as we started, I was a little hesitant. I started looking back over the past 13 years and reminisced about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I also kept looking back to remember and figure out where all my problems have started and how my path has led me to this point. Then I started thinking about the now. The military is really all I know, and that connection will soon be severed. So cutting the uniform was therapeutic and symbolic of letting go and starting life over on a fresh path. The new journey awaits me, and I'm not sure where it leads, but as long as I trust the new path and myself, my capabilities are endless. On that photo right there, that's actually me sitting in the turret leaving Abbey Road Prison. It was kind of weird at the time because I really didn't think about it. I trusted my capabilities, I trusted everybody around me, and that's something I struggle with now. And that's who I'd like to be again, the guy sitting in that turret. So that explains that. Now the next one's a little bit long. It's untitled, and if you have children, I can warn you ahead of time. There is a curse word in there. I try to keep it clean, but I got down one word. Good? Okay. Who was I then? I was a very smart, headstrong person. Nothing seemed impossible through my eyes. I could accomplish anything. I actually proved to someone how to power a radio with a pile of shit. It was quite simple though. I was a straight A student, honors classes. I've completed 4 college degrees. I had drive and motivation. I participated in many sports. I was a conference champ at discus and 800 meter. I was a state champ at bowling. I also played baseball, hockey, and golf. I was a musician. I kept the beat for the marching band by playing drums, played the trumpet at concerts, and strummed the bass guitar for the jazz band. I was happy-go-lucky. I was a BFF to most people I met. I heard people say that I'm weird, but in a good way. I had clear thoughts, amazing concentration, and focus. I'm probably missing a lot more, but I can't remember. Who am I now? I feel like an old, broken down, bitter man who should be retired sitting on the front porch hitting cats with a fly swatter. I'm constantly angry at the world for just being here. I hate myself for the person I've become. I have constant guilt running through my mind, mixed with anger, hate, and depression. Others claim I was an outview, but I didn't think so. I have little to no drive or motivation anymore. I get stressed just walking down my long driveway to get the paper. I stopped taking classes at school. My injuries do not allow me to participate in most sports, so I get depressed sometimes just watching others have fun I once had. I'm pissed off, agitated, and most people do not approach me anymore in fear I might have another anger episode, which normally results in me getting reprimanded. I no longer have clear thoughts. People always ask, is there something wrong with you? Because I stare at nothing and don't realize I'm doing it. I can hardly sleep most nights. I have little to no concentration anymore. Sometimes I won't remember a conversation from 5 minutes ago. Where was I going with this rant? Who will I be in the future? After treatment, I hope to retain most of the stuff I learned and move on. I already know I will never be the same person, but I see a chance to become possibly something better. I call it Dan 2.0, the new version which will hopefully be faster and stronger than before. Others might not believe it, or I might tell myself it's a pipe dream, but deep down I know where I was before, and I think if I work hard at it, I could possibly be there again. But where will I be 10 years from now? I honestly don't know, and I'm not going to stress over it. I still have goals, but I will achieve them at a reasonable pace. I'm not sure if you get the idea, but if you are confused, no worries, I am too. But I know I'm heading in the right direction.
Thanks, Dan. Our next reader is someone who participated with us several months ago. I'm not remembering exactly when. He is a great writer, and I hope that you may see him around town doing some other readings, and he can tell you about where he's doing that. He served in the Army, right? Yeah. Okay. Please welcome Lionel.
How y'all doing? I have two pieces I'm going to be reading today. One is concerning some struggles that I've dealt with in my life. And the second one, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But before I read, I want to thank Lavella and Seema. And definitely want to thank Dave and Eli, Combat Paper Word Writers. That really saved my life, so thank you all. And also I want to thank another one of your colleagues up at Walter Reed, Fred Foote. Is he here today? No, he does a writing class also on Thursdays. So I want to thank him also. This first one is called, for those of you who have ever been in treatment or providers, it's called Emotional Reasoning. Cover your ears. Never believed my thoughts would be the death of me, that my own personal thinking would hold back the best in me. Kind of hard to understand that it's my mind testing me. My setbacks are much deeper than the flesh in me. I give anything to live and be whole again. Shed blood to dig my family out this hole again. Raise the curtain to my brain and let the show begin. On another couch with some counselor saying, don't hold it in. These tears that I shed got a story to tell. Not Hollywood, it's too gory to sell. These crackerjack war movies just bore me to hell. Except for Strepo now. That shit was real. It's hard when I wake up sweating at night. Because for some strange reason I just can't sleep right. I know it's in my head, but it's there in my sight. Because I'm holding my homie who didn't make it back to his wife. This stuff got me crazy and locked up for 28 days. Because the drinking has become one of many ways. They say eventually it's gonna send me to the grave, but somehow it's just the only thing that I crave. No sex, no games, no time with my son. Just questions to God why wasn't I the one who was chosen to die by that Afghan's gun. So I numb the feeling from that shot on my tongue. My emotional reasoning is me taking the blame for my marriage being burned up and in the flames. 1 year ago, I wouldn't have said the same. I was telling my son it's her fault we were estranged. This feeling inside, it shows on my face. But for some reason, I want to be back in that place. Full of death and bullets, yet packed with God's grace. Because only He could have gotten me back in the race. Should my pain be ended by a bullet in the head? If Haji won't do it, I'll pull the trigger instead. These are my thoughts when I'm lying in bed. But it's emotional reasoning, so it's all in my head. This next one I wrote, it's called Letter to My Son. I'll pull it up, sorry. Bear with me a minute. entitled Letter to My Son, My Proverbs. If time is money, then daddy is broke. Twist one for your boy, let's chat and smoke. Puff, puff, pass, but don't waste all your time. Your flaws are many, but only half are mine. Good judgment is crucial when choosing your friends. The real ones will stay despite all your sins. Believe there's a God, because only He forgives. Because this world brings you nothing but hurt and tears. Tell your mama I'm sorry, my transgressions were felt. But I just played my cards from what I was dealt. I didn't ask for the streets, I just answered the call. With that came the drugs, niggas is broad. If you live by the gun, you could die by the same. So don't tug at your hip, pull it in vain. And speaking of guns, get this through your head. Take a look at your fist and throw those instead. Because back in my day, that made you a man. Don't beat on the weak just because you can. Others will get you to hell, but they cannot judge you. That decision is made by the one above you. The Lord is in your grasp, so reach every day. And if I teach you nothing, my sons, learn how to pray. The money will come, but it's all about you. Understand everything in the books is not true. But if you never read, then you won't never know. If you don't search for answers, then your mind won't grow. And that's what they want for you to grow up ruthless, fatherless, broke, poor, dumb, and stupid. Slavery was nothing compared to right now. Relight the blunt now, I'll tell you just how. The Negro today has fell way behind. Though we got the same chances, we got too blind. By diamonds, platinum, worldly things. Spinning rims and shit, making it rain. That stuff is all good till it gets in the way. When talking about it consumes your day. When wanting those things consumes your life. Because killing folks for it sure ain't right. That's the game right now, and I would give you more. But I'm busy right now because I'm fighting this war. Terrorism the enemy, but an end is near. But I'm doing this for you so you never come here. But just in case these become my last words, take heed to what Daddy called his proverbs. Now make your own. Thank you.
Everybody's got a different flavor, different perspective. It's really nice to hear lots of different folks. It's really important. We talk about it in the workshops. It's comment paper, it's for your writers. It doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done, what you're doing now, if you've ever done art. It's really important for us to sort of paint the whole picture and to bring your experience to the table so that everybody can hear it. We're all different and we value that. So I want to bring up our next participant who is in the Air Force, and her name is Carrie. Please welcome.
Hi, I'm Carrie, and I have a low voice, so hopefully y'all can hear me. The first poem I'm going to read is called Many Hats. I'm an Air Force vet. I'm an Army wife, a mom of 2, stepmom of 3, a grandmother of 1 at the age of 37. I'm a daughter of a drug-addicted mother, a sister to 1 that I grew up with, a sister to 4 that I met when I was 26, a daughter to a father who I met once, then he passed unexpectedly. I'm an airman, I'm an NCO, I'm a leader, I'm a follower, I'm a shoulder, one who needs a shoulder. I'm a fighter, I am disconnected. I'm a reflection of no one but me. I need to learn to love with all that I have, not just half of my heart. I am chaos, I am perfect imperfection. I'm a future mortician. I was lost, but now I'm found. The next one I'm going to read is called Memory Eraser. I don't know what you've seen. I don't know what you've heard. The cries in the night, the blood from your friend. You tell them it's all right, but you know it's the end. I don't know what it's like because I've never been. I'm a vet too, but I haven't seen as much as you. Guilt, shame, feel the need to play the blame game. I've trained, I've been prepared, I've made sure you were prepared. Dog tags check, ID check, immunizations check. See the chaplain check, SGLI, DD93 check. I've seen you on your way, projected you back for another day. I think about your homecoming, pray it isn't a homegoing. I don't know what it's like, and I wish I could relate. I wish I could take your memories and free you, let you escape. I wish I could erase the memories from you. I know you need a break. My mind races, but not the same thoughts as yours. I can't imagine your heart, your fears. I respect you. I will listen to you. I will never judge your story. I don't know what it's like behind the enemy lines. It's a curse for my patriotism. It's a blessing to my family. My picture on the wall over here is the one with the stripes on it. It says, well, to the left, the first picture is me with my last re-enlistment, which took me to 20 years. I'm going to be retiring this year. It says deployments 0 equals betrayed, which I feel I'm betrayed. To my comrades because I never went. At the same time, the deployments says equals 0 across my family picture, and it's a blessing to them. So who am I?
Just got a couple more folks, we're almost done. Thanks for hanging in there and being here and listening to the stories. So our next reader has been to 3 or 4 of our workshops now. He just keeps coming back. He can't get enough. Combat Faith and Warrior Writers. Please welcome Army vet Duncan.
First one is they just wanted us to write about our uniform, so I wrote one. It says, one by one, we step forward to get fitted. T-shirts, socks, underwear, then the blouse and the trousers, the green and black pattern, the coarse texture of the fabric, finally the black leather boots. We wore them with pride, stepping into formation. We were young, dumb, and had delusions of immortality. Then the time comes again, one by one, t-shirts, socks, underwear, blouse and trousers, this time dinner with shades of brown pattern. The fabric less coarse, proud, standing on the flight line, young, dumb, with delusions of immortality. The boots now beaten and worn, the blouse and trousers torn and faded. The faded pink stains, reminders of brothers lost. We are young, wiser, and praying for the day when we were reborn. No, it's just one I wrote one day and Seema's writing class, and kind of seems appropriate considering the shutdown possibly. It says, do you see it there on the horizon, waiting patiently to cast down its wrath? It deceives us with false hopes and dreams. Foolishly, we ignore the obvious signs it projects. Letting the marionette dance us on our strings, leading us down the road paved with despair. Like cattle to the slaughter, we obviously continue walking to our demise. In all, by the lies of their forked tongues, letting ourselves be distracted from the alarm signs all around. It won't be long now, it's getting closer. Soon it will be upon us, devouring us, like the horsemen of the apocalypse, destroying everything it touches. Cast into the dark, an abyss that can never be escaped. Go, hang on every word of deceit. But do not be surprised when you willingly lay your head on the chopping block. Our destruction is their end game. Our demise is the reward for our foolish, unquestioning loyalty. Can you see it on the horizon? Here comes the end. And the third one is one that I wrote with some guys that seem to have with music. One plays cello, the other one does a bunch of stuff. And Zima, basically I felt like she challenged me because she said she wanted to hear what it'd be like a cappella. And I come from a Scottish background. Today's my mom's birthday and she's a singer, so it's of course going to be a pub song. But we drink and we think of the things we have seen. When we dream of the things we have done, the pain of the cost and the friends we have lost in that hot desert sun. So fly away, angels divine, carry my brothers away. Tell them I'll join them when my work is done, and you'll come for me that day. We laughed and we cried and we cursed to the sky till our time in hell was through. And our weary souls have been paying that toll for this we know is true. So fly away, angels divine, carry my brothers away. Tell them I'll join them when my work is done, and you'll come for me that day. Yes, you'll come for me that day.
That's great. We've been begging him last time, but he wouldn't do it for 6 minutes. Thank you so much, Duncan. That was awesome. All right, so we have one more person who's going to take the stage and blow your minds. This has been a really amazing, emotional, powerful night, and I want you all just to, tuck this away, take it home with you, and keep digesting it. I'm sure it's going to take a while, but also share it with other people. Tell people what we're doing. As you know, as you heard, there are veterans out there who need this, who want this. So please tell people. We're all, of course, on Facebook and all that social media stuff that I don't even know how to do. But you all do. And we have books, we have sign-up sheets, we have brochures. This book, like some folks have said, changed their life. If maybe not you, pass it on to a veteran or a family member, somebody in your life that you know needs this book. And you need to keep this process going. This is not just one night, it's every night. We're all here doing this stuff in all of our lives, so please carry it with us. So to close us out, one of my partners in crime, who's been working hard this week, please welcome Jeremy St.
Thanks y'all for reading your stuff. This poem I wrote a couple years ago, so some of it's indicative of where I have been and what I was dealing with or how I was coping. The first Warrior Writers Workshop I went to, there was only like 3 of us, and we were all Marines, and Lavella said, yeah, that's okay, that's how I'm saying it to she wanted us to consider the speaking of our written word as integral to the healing process as the writing was. So this one's called Please Try Something Different. It's in that book that you have. It's not like it used to be, not like it used to be. He said, come on, suck it up. They said, it's time you just moved on. She said, wherever you go, there you are. And all I heard was nagging voices, barking, orders, missile raids in my head. I mean, you see me here, but I am so far gone. You see me here, but I am so far gone. He said, you can make a career out of this. They said, thanks for your service, but they never, ever listened. She said, you have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but can you please try seeing death and then have nothing go wrong because you people triggered a social disease because you don't hear shit after we come home, not like it used to be. She said, you have PTSD. Post-terror soul disorder, passively timid, sometimes dangerous, pathetically trying, slowly dying, potentially terminal spiritual disease. What if I said, fuck yours, stupid cliches about picking yourself up off the goddamn ground or letting go of the past, or wherever you go, there you are. And what if I said, fuck you, America, you're the disorder, your greed, your selfishness, your lies. And what if I said, please be forewarned, I'll be emotionally detached when you need me the most, I'll be present but gone and silently celebrating each slow breath, knowing they bring me one step closer to death. And what if I said I cannot love you because I cannot love myself? And what if I said I'll just stop talking for months because I may as well be dead? And what if I said the only reason I can make art or write with a passion is because I can paper? My paper, my pen, myself. And relationships gone like rounds, down, range. Self-confidence lost like missing in action, simply struggling to move forward, no traction. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Out of control, won't you please try something different? Fuck your judgment, your excuses, won't you please try something different? Fuck your pills, your prescriptions, won't you please try something different? Fuck your meanings, good intentions. Just give me a set of ears to finally hear my truth and shoulders to cry on when I finally break down. Just give me a yoga mat and some good fucking weed, a war that hasn't started in a country without greed. Just please try something different and maybe I'll get some hope back. Because I'm stuck in a hell of hopelessness, and maybe I'll stop scanning rooms and environments and just rest, and maybe I'll stop judging myself and just accept me. For me, I'm the fuck. She said that I have PTSD, but had problems with trauma before them. Couldn't differentiate between childhood abuse and war's excuse. Of freedom, of home, like pain is weakness, leaving the body unless it doesn't leave, so you just leave your body. Suicidal thoughts maybe became habitual and cadenced, like left, right, left, right, but what's left when you finally come home, nothing's right, and nobody knows that anything is wrong. Won't you please try something different?
All right, one more round of applause for all of our readers. What an amazing week. And look what we have to show. The artwork, the reading, like I said up here before, we deconstruct, reclaim, and communicate. So here we are, communicating. I'm not going to take up any more time because that was a long performance, but it was so amazing. We do it all over again, right? But I want to say a really special thank you to every one of you, all of our participants out here tonight. You guys did this. So thank you guys. Don't forget, we have brochures on both tables, International Spirit of Healing, and the back table there. And also, and food, there's plenty of food. If you're interested in either one, three here, there are sign-up sheets, there are brochures. Please follow us on Facebook, on our websites. One last time, round of applause. Thank you very much for having me.